George, have you thought about how you want to leave this world? I mean, you're probably too young to have really thought too much about it. But, as you pointed out a couple episodes ago, I'm an old man. And I decided that, if the rapture doesn't get me, I want to go peaceably in my sleep like my grandfather. Not screaming in terror like everybody else in the car he was driving.
I wasn't going to laugh at that. Okay. I wasn't even gonna laugh, but you.
Seriously, though, the legacy you leave behind and what you'll be remembered for is pretty important. And today, George, you're going to help us unpack a to-do list that really everybody needs to build a legacy that truly lasts.
Yes, sir.
But you know what? First, are you an organized kind of person, or do you need chaos? Like, are you the kind of guy that, you got 7 kids, so there can't be that much organization.
Oh, trust me, there is.
So do you need like a task, a to-do list to stay focused, or?
I think for me, being organized really helps with the flow of things in our household. I think it would be better if I did do a to-do list. I do them sometimes, but not all the time. During work, I do.
I'm like, yeah, well, I think that's a good point, at work versus at home.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep up with a to-do list at home. We always been like the spontaneous.
I can see that with you.
Yeah.
I'm not. Especially with Kimberly. We're checklist type of people. I've always been big on checklist stuff.
My wife is. She likes to stay organized that way. She'll write in her journal.
In my to-do, like if I don't put it on my to-do list,
yeah,
it ain't happening. I'm gonna forget.
Same here.
Google reminders.
And then I tell myself I need to make a to-do list, and then forget to do the to-do list.
Well, another book, The Checklist Manifesto. Have you ever?
The Checklist Manifesto. No, I've never read that one.
It's so good, man. It's all about checklists and how really smart, intelligent, doctors and pilots and surgeons and, these kinds of high performing type people.
Yeah.
They all basically need checklists or things go wrong.
I could see that.
When you're running a plane.
I could see that, yeah.
There's a story in there about bombers in the 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
And how basically they were losing so much just from errors happening. And same thing with hospitals. There's lots of stories about hospitals in there and how that people would die because somebody would forget to wash their hands or in the airplane deal where somebody wouldn't flip a switch.
Right.
But they introduced a checklist and bam, all of a sudden people stopped dying because people washed their hands.
Right.
Because it's on their checklist. So
that sounds good. I think one of my favorite things about some of our Wednesday night preaching is when Pastor pulls out, his 1 through 10 or 1 through 5 list that he does. And I think it really, just seeing a checklist kind of gets people in order, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
7 points to this or 5 steps for that. Yeah.
It's my favorite. Like, I absolutely love Wednesday when he does that. It opens me up. Like, I come tired, right? I'm sure we all do. But like when I see that, it just makes me want to, so that's what we did, right, today?
Hey, yeah, that is what we got today.
We did. So we have a to-do list, right?
To-do list? Is it a 7-point to-do list?
It looks like there's 7.
Check it out.
Yeah. Where do we start? Do I start it?
Yeah, kick it off, man.
All right.
Unpack these for us. What have we got?
Let's do this. So we have compiled a to-do list for everyday living as a Christian, right?
Yeah. Make sure you leave a good legacy.
Leave a good legacy, like we mentioned in the beginning. We all want to be remembered as good people, but we also want to live that way too, right?
Absolutely.
So what better way than to have a good old checklist?
Just go down and check the box.
So, first off, we want to lead with integrity, right?
Proverbs 11:3. The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them. And then Proverbs 21:3. To do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. Ooh.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, leading with integrity basically means, guiding others with honesty, transparency, a strong sense of ethics. I know my pastor, he really pushes ethics, and it takes a while to learn, but it's really not that, once you see people do it, you're like, okay, well, I need to do this right too. You get what I'm saying?
ethics it's really one of those things that you think is really common sense or whatever, you know?
And it's not.
But it isn't, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Because humans, like, we're so messy.
Yeah, that's
we're
true.
So messy.
That's
we know
true.
how to mess things up.
Truism.
I mean, some of us,
so you do kind of have to think about it.
You do.
And keep it in your mind and keep it.
You have to be taught ethics.
Right.
I think. Yep. I mean, and the earlier the better.
Yeah, it's not just ingrained in us.
Right.
Well, I mean, the opposite's ingrained in us, fallen nature.
Yes, sir. Leading with integrity also means making decisions that align with core values, even when it's difficult or unpopular. Leaders who lead with integrity, they build trust. I mean, they inspire respect, and they create just an ethical environment for whether their teams, their families, their friends. It just fosters a long-term success.
Just do right.
Just do right. You know, my pastor always says, he says, show up to work early and outwork everybody.
Yeah, that's right.
That's something that I take and I do it every day. There's an example of this in the Bible. I mean, just talking about Daniel, right?
Oh man, he had a excellent attitude, spirit.
He did.
It was integrity. That is what that was.
Yeah, and he was taken into exile in Babylon, but he remained steadfast in his faith, and he just refused to compromise any of his principles.
Yeah, and he did it in a way that he wasn't like, rah, he wasn't attacking the others. He wasn't holier than thou.
Right.
His attitude.
Yeah.
It was integrity, not self-righteousness.
Self-righteousness
is different from righteousness and integrity.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That Daniel's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. Good
example.
He stayed praying openly to God after King Darius. He went and forbid prayer, and simply put, we just need to be like Daniel, right? When it comes to leading with integrity,
be like Danny. Hashtag
be like Danny.
Hashtag Danny. Hey, right.
That's good stuff. All right, so be like Daniel.
Check number one. Be like Danny.
Number one. Okay, another point is we got to prioritize our family, right? You got something on that?
Another proverb. We're going to do Proverbs today. Proverbs 17:6. Children's children are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are their fathers. Prioritizing family. Proverbs 22:6. That's a famous verse.
Famous.
We're going to do famous verses, man.
We're going to
hit
it.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Will not depart.
Another proverb about family. 15:20. A wise son maketh a glad father, but a foolish man despises his mother.
When we prioritize our family, it just basically means that we're making time for them. We're supporting them and nurturing them in our relationship. We balance our personal and professional responsibilities just to build strong family bonds, providing that extra care, emotionally and physically, fostering that environment where just everybody feels valued, they feel connected, and you create that foundation of love that can withstand anything in this world.
It's not easy too, as busy as life gets.
And we're busy. So a question for basically everybody is, what keeps you from doing so?
Sometimes just making the ends meet, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could be your job,
that could
your
be
career,
tough.
Your school. I mean, when they give you overtime, who doesn't want overtime, right? It makes make that extra money. Hobbies, Another thing is helping out. Too much, I mean, I don't think that's talked about very often.
It's easy to get busy with good stuff too.
Even doing good stuff will get you.
It's about balance. You got to stay balanced.
And that's what our pastor preaches, right? He says we got to have a balance every single time in everything that we do. When Joshua makes that declaration in his household, he says, as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. It just shows Joshua's commitment to leading his family, in faith and spiritual values and family unity, right, as a top priority.
Right. Well, that family unit, you got to there's an order and a structure to it all, and you got to keep it in the right place, the right way, the right place, the right framework. And that's really, Ephesians 5:6 is all about that. How basically your home should reflect the church.
Right.
And your church will reflect the home.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. Parents and mom and dad and kids, like everybody functions together when they're in their place. Prioritizing family, that's number 2 on the list.
Well, number 3, we have lifelong learning. I like to live by, if I'm not learning something new every day, I failed, right? And what it means is you're acquiring new knowledge or skills throughout your life.
I think we got Proverbs for that too, don't we?
We do, yes.
Proverbs 19:20. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. Proverbs 18:15. The heart of the prudent getteth knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeketh knowledge. And then, of course, Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. So yeah, you got to keep learning.
Keep learning. Your personal growth is very important, right? Your ability to adapt and just continuously improve. It enables everybody to stay relevant in this ever-changing world, because this world is always changing.
Yeah, and yet it's always the same.
Yeah.
Think about Solomon.
Yeah.
The wisest man on earth. He had the opportunity to have wealth or power, whatever you want. And what did he ask for? He asked for that wisdom. Lifelong learning. Mm-hmm. He asked to continue to grow his mind and his thoughts. And as that, so that he'd be wise, so that he could lead the people of Israel. Mm-hmm. And he got it.
He sure did.
And he didn't stop learning. Like, that's why we have Proverbs.
Yeah. You just have to, you keep learning, to be able to teach your children, or to be able to teach just somebody else that might be struggling. It's all
about serving others.
Yeah. We have number 4 on the list, and this is probably one of my favorite ones, is friendships and accountability. Let's hear a proverb on that.
Proverbs 27:17. Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. Proverbs 13:20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise. But a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Oof. You run with a skunk,
you're going to smell like a skunk.
Truism.
Proverbs 27:6. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful.
Wow.
That's good. I want a friend, that isn't afraid to wound me a little bit when I need it.
Oh, yeah. And I like to say it all the time. If I do something that upsets you, like, I want to know, let's talk about this, right?
You gotta be
accountable. It's a part of being accountable, right?
Yeah.
I would want that from all my friends.
I heard one time somebody said, a true friend will tell you when you got a booger in your nose.
They go hand in hand, right? Just friendship and accountability. They go hand in hand in building your meaningful relationships. True friends support each other. It's simple as that, and they hold each other accountable for their actions and their personal growth. Your accountability within your friendships, it just fosters that honesty and just mutual respect. And you just encourages people around you, to stay true to their values and make better life decisions and be there for each other when others are in need.
Yeah, that reminds me of something else I did just here this last week or so. When you talk about friends and people that are closest to you or whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody always talks about who's the person you can call when your world's falling apart and when you're having the worst day of your life. Who do you pick up the phone and call? And he said, but that's not. He said, for him, the real measure isn't the one that you call when everything's falling apart, but who's the one you can call something amazing just happened.
Right.
You just had the best whatever happen. You got a promotion on the job and your world just changed. It's not just who you're going to call when it's, the ones closest to it, but who can you celebrate with?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point.
Hesitation.
Yeah.
And then,
we have to have that though.
Yeah. I think in the big times, it's kind of easier to know who those are in the big times, whether it's a high or a low, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in the day-to-day, the everyday, little small unexpected things, we haven't fired up our text group in a long while.
That's true.
And kick that off again.
We sure do. And we would text each other all the time, dad jokes or just different things, just having fun,
Yeah, that thread has quieted down a little bit. I've got some other threads going, but that one needs to come back to life.
We need each other, man. Simply put, right?
Yeah.
We need each other.
I don't know. Is that biblical?
It is. Yeah, it reminds me of the relationship between David and Jonathan. When I say that we need that. I mean,
yeah, we do.
In Samuel, in the book of Samuel, 1 Samuel, Jonathan, which is the son of King Saul, and David, they form a friendship. You know, he not only supports David, but also holds him accountable. You know, when David was facing the dangers from Saul. You know, a key moment is when Jonathan warns David about his father's intention to harm him, right? I mean, imagine you telling your friend that your dad is trying to hurt him. You know, like think about the level of commitment or like the sincere love that he had for his friend. They make a covenant of loyalty to protect each other. You know, Jonathan, he holds David accountable by helping him make the decisions based on righteousness and personal sacrifice. When he risks his relationship, you know, to protect David, you know, with his father.
Dude, I am so immature.
Rightly so said.
Dude, I am so immature.
Why is that?
I'm just looking at these notes. At the first one, you know, hashtag be like Danny.
Yeah.
The second one on prioritizing your family, be like Joshua.
Be like Joshua.
Yeah. The third one, be like Jonathan.
Be like
No, the third
one.
Be
like Solomon.
Be like Solomon. The fourth one, we're going to get this right.
You got this.
Yeah. The fourth one, be like Jonathan.
Be like Johnny boy.
Hashtag Johnny.
Hashtag be like Johnny.
All right. I don't know what the next ones are going to be. I know we got 3 more to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you got Daniel, Joshua, Solomon, Jonathan. All right.
I want a friend like Jonathan.
Yeah, the Bible says that their souls were knit.
Yeah.
That's like blood brothers back when.
Blood brothers.
That was back in the 80s, right? When people did that.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do that now.
Oh. But I mean, just being that friend and holding them accountable, you know. I mean, we just want to be like Jonathan.
Right.
Be like Jonathan.
Be like Jonathan.
Next on the list, we have serve others.
Serve others. Proverbs 3:27. Withhold not good from them to whom it is due, when it is in the power of thine hand to do it. Good. Proverbs 31, verse 8 and 9. Open thy mouth for the dumb in the cause of all such as are appointed to destruction. Open thy mouth, judge righteously, and plead the cause of the poor and needy. Proverbs 19:17. He that hath pity upon the poor lendeth unto the Lord, and that which he hath given will he pay him again. Yeah. Serving others. When you have the ability to do it. That's what Proverbs 3:27 said. You better do it. Do it.
Right. So this goes hand in hand with the previous episode we had when we talked about
neighbors.
Your neighbors.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. But the survey or whatever it was that, not survey.
The study.
The study.
The seminar.
I'm
the
sorry,
seminary study.
The seminary study, right? Yeah. Just crossing over that man because they're busy or whatever. I mean, you know, we want to do better. We want to serve the best way possible. You know, it just means putting the needs of others, you know, before your own, offering that help, that support, being kind without expecting anything in return. You know, just those simple acts of compassion, you know, like helping someone in need or listening when they need an ear and not talking, you know, or sharing resources, you know. It just creates a sense of connection, empathy, and respect. It's just an important way to make a impact. I've read this before, and you know, it just simply says people can forget your attitude, but they will not forget how you serve them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, they'll forget how you were feeling that day, but they won't forget what you did that day. There's an example.
Kind of like they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Same thing, yeah.
Same type of philosophy
awesome.
there.
Yeah, that works hand in hand there. An example of serving others in the Bible. I mean, Jesus is washing the feet of his disciples in book of John, chapter 13. You know, it shows Jesus, you know, despite being their teacher and leader, humbly performing the task of washing the dirty feet of the disciples. You know, something that
was the servant's job.
That was the servant's job. he just does it to demonstrate who he was. The humility, and it teaches the disciples the importance of serving one another with love.
Yeah, I mean, if Jesus could do it, you can do it.
Right.
Yeah.
And he says this. He says, I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you.
That's right.
It just shows you that we should serve others like Jesus served his disciples that day when he was washing their feet.
Hashtag be like Jesus.
Truism, truism, truism.
Number 6, take care of physical and mental health. Let's hear some Proverbs on that. This one is a good one.
Proverbs 23:20 and 21. Be not among wine bibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh.
Eaters of flesh.
Oh, that's a meat eater. Wait, okay. You can eat meat.
You can eat meat.
You just can't do it riotously, I guess, right? Riotous eaters of flesh.
How would that
For the drunkard and the glutton, there you go, shall come to poverty. And drowsiness shall clothe a man with rest. Got to be careful there. Proverbs 14:30. A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of bones.
Lord, give me a sound heart.
Yeah. Proverbs 4:23, keep thy heart. This is another famous one. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Proverbs 17:22, a merry heart doeth good like medicine. Another famous verse. But a broken spirit drieth the bones.
Don't want to be dry bones. But those are all good Proverbs. Basically taking care of physical and mental health. It's very simply put, it's just taking care of your health for overall well-being, your health, your mind and your body physically. It can include regular exercise, and you're eating well and you're sleeping well and you're staying hydrated. You got to learn how to manage your stress, right?
Yeah. God put us all together that way because we need those things. And
you have to manage your stress. I mean, that's one of the top ones.
And managing stress, that's such a interesting one because everybody's got stress. It's part of.
Oh yeah, it's a part of life.
I don't know. Some people say, I don't believe in stress. Well, yeah, you believe in pressure. You believe in stuff happening, like everybody. And it's one of the things I think about, from kids. Sometimes it's easy for people to kind of overlook. You're a dad, man. You're raising 7 kids, right?
Yeah.
So you look, and maybe you don't, but when kids go through stuff, and this goes for every age of life, it's the hardest thing for Emily's troubles right now, whatever she struggles with, and I'm sure she's struggling with something in her life because it's life,
Yeah.
It's probably nothing to you. She's having trouble with a subject in school.
Yeah.
Or whatever, it's probably in your world. Yeah. That's hard. Wait till you get to, because you've already been there.
We've been there, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes it's easy. And, kids is just the difference between kids and adults. To me, it's an easy way to see it. But everybody's that managing stress thing. Everybody's going through something different. And they're at a different level or a different stage. And it's not, life never gets easier in quotes, right? It doesn't get
no, it doesn't. It does not.
Coasting through whatever. You're always going to have something going on, something. So learning how to overcome, learning how to handle it and manage it and get through it and get on to the next mountaintop, get on to the next uphill climb.
Yeah, that's good. It was funny because me and Emily were talking about something that she was a little worried about. She has a project coming up, and so
and to her it's
a big deal.
Yeah, we've got to be careful,
mindfulness
to not minimize that for her.
Right.
Help them understand. Yeah, this is tough, but you're tougher.
Right.
And then you'll get through it, and guess what? Something else tough is gonna.
Yeah. I told her.
Come on.
I told her that we'd work on it the next day, and we get it done together, And she I gave her a little treat, and she was feeling kind of happy about that. So, it's good. It's good stuff.
Man, it's been a while since I got a treat.
We got to get you one of those. So just there's another point in Corinthians, right? 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20. It says, What? Know you not that your body is the temple of the Holy Ghost which is in you, which ye have of God, and
That's
ye
right.
are not your
Not
own.
your own.
You are not your own. For ye are bought with a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I read this thing. I listened to a podcast. It's a lot about physical health. One of the things that they always say is like, basically, if you stay active, you're less likely to be depressed.
That's so true.
There's a statistic, right? And this is just you doing the bare minimum, which is roughly equivalent to 2.5 hours of brisk walking. You have a 25% lower risk of depression compared to those who report no physical activity.
It's true.
That's just 2.5 hours of walking per week.
Okay, per week, not per day.
Not per day, per week.
Hey, my stress level, there's some days I need to go do 2.5 hours of walking.
30 minutes a day probably, right? That's probably what that's equivalent to, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that's 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day.
30 minutes a day, or just get that blood flowing, Don't sit down and...
It's true, like you feel it.
You feel different. You feel completely different. That's a physical health, right? What do you got for us on the mental health?
Well, let's stick with Paul. We're going to do hashtag be like Paul on this one.
Be like Paul. Hashtag be like Paul.
Philippians 4:6-7. Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. The peace of God. You want peace. That's what you got to do. Be careful for nothing. In everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus.
Oh, so good.
Be like Paul.
Be like Paul.
Last one here. What have we got?
Last one. Stay rooted in your faith. Got to stay rooted in your faith. Hit us with a proverb, brother.
I'll hit you with one of the most famous proverbs here. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to thine own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Yes.
Let's go to Proverbs 2. That was Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Go to Proverbs 2. For the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. He layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keepeth the paths of judgment and preserveth the way of his saints. Gotta stay rooted.
Stay rooted.
And then Proverbs 30 and 5, since we're doing 3. Proverbs 30 and 5, every word of God is pure. He is a shield to them that put their trust in him. Gotta stay rooted.
Stay rooted. Staying rooted in faith. It just simply means maintaining a strong connection to your spiritual beliefs, even when facing challenges or adversity. Just cultivating practices, prayer here a lot, right? We say the word prayer a lot here.
And then like that last proverb, every word of God, you got to pray, you got to get in your book.
Yeah, pray, read your Bible to help you understand your trust and your faith. But being grounded, it just provides that extra guidance and hope and stability, just allowing you to navigate through life's uncertainty with strength, man, and resilience. It reminds me of Job. He was a man that experienced great suffering with his wealth, his health, his family. Yeah. But despite all of that, he never abandoned his faith in God.
No, he didn't.
Never. Even when his friends urged him to curse God, he remained steadfast, saying, though he slay me, yet will I trust in him.
There you go.
Hashtag be like Job. That's right. I mean, his faith was tested, and he just, he stays steadfast. He stay rooted in that faith, even during those hard times, man. We gotta be like Job.
Be like Job.
Yes.
All right, man. That's a good to-do list.
Yeah, you like that? I hope that helps.
That's a repeatable to-do list.
Yes.
You can't just check the box and move on. Mm-hmm. I don't think from any of those.
Right.
You got to keep going.
I think that help you set a firm foundation.
Yeah.
And belief and
build everything else around that.
Yes. Good stuff.
Hey. All right, George. Going back to Grandpa. Falling asleep at the wheel, man.
Grandpa.
That's his legacy. I think if we wrote a book about Gramps, it would be Asleep at the Wheel might be the title or
Asleep
something.
at the Wheel.
You know,
Yeah, that's
what
good.
if somebody wrote a biography about you, man? What's the title going to be?
I think the title to that biography would be Redemption.
Oh,
Redemption. Yeah.
Ooh.
Because a lot of people, and if you ever met people before I come into the church, they would tell you that that's not George. You know, that's not who he is. You know, probably to this day they're like, oh, he's faking. You know, that's something that he didn't. I was down, you know, just like everybody else, you know, but to be able to rise up to that occasion, to be able to set my feet on this foundation that God has given me, and it just basically says, you've been redeemed. You know, like,
that's good.
You've been redeemed. You've done it. You know, I remember I told you a story about one time I was at a party with my family, and I didn't do what everybody else was doing, and it made that victory. You know, that victory in that's redemption. You know, that's redemption.
Like that song, Redeemed.
Yes, I am redeemed.
That's good.
Yeah. What about you? Let's hear.
Man, well, it's not near as spiritual and deep as yours, I guess.
Come on. The title will be Spaghetti.
Spaghetti? No, man, I don't know about that. No, actually, I don't know. You know, one, I'd have to question why anybody would write a book about me. But
because you're a very interesting man. You might not know this, but you are very interesting.
I think the title would be Have Fun.
Have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Like,
I like that.
You like that? Yeah, I used to end my phone calls with "Have fun." Like, and I don't know that I do it anymore. I don't talk on the phone hardly ever anymore.
Yeah. I'd rather talk on the phone than text. I absolutely
really
do not like texting.
No, man, text is best.
Oh.
But I used to end like when I was talking to somebody, I was just, all right, have fun. You know, people say, see ya, bye, whatever. Actually, people don't now. They just hang up. It's weird.
It is very weird.
It's weird.
I thought I was the only one that thought that. Like, they don't say bye anymore or see you later. It's like,
you just click. Well, they don't even click. You just put the button and and it's gone. But yeah, no, I used to end
the only one.
calls with, hey, have fun. You know, it was kind of like my parting see ya. Yeah. It was have fun.
Have fun. Like a little catchphrase, huh?
Like, yeah, it was my little deal.
That's cool.
And I know one time I was talking to a friend on the phone.
Yeah.
Like one of my good friends. Mm-hmm. And I didn't, when we were done talking, and I think it was kind of a deal with work going on or something. There was something kind of serious. It was one of those conversations with friends that, you know, that friends and accountability thing.
Yeah.
It was one of those types of conversations, but I didn't end the call with have fun. And he called my wife. He said, hey, everything okay? James doing all right? He had to check up on me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't end the call with have fun.
That's good, though. He noticed that
good.
Is you.
I didn't notice it at the time.
Yeah. You don't ever tell me that.
Have fun.
I'm going to make sure I call you instead of text you now.
No, I don't like talking on the phone. I don't know. Text is best.
So what if somebody calls you and said, hey, James, I'm stuck. My tire's in mud. I can't get it out. Are you going to say,
have fun?
Are you going to say, have fun?
Have fun.
But you will help.
Yeah.
We will have fun.
Yeah.
That's good. So let's do a recap.
All right. Yeah. Let's recap.
So number 1, lead with integrity. That's hashtag be like Daniel.
Be like Daniel.
And number 2, prioritize family. That is hashtag be like Joshua.
Yes.
3 is lifelong learning. Hashtag be like Solomon.
People even do hashtags anymore?
Probably not.
That's so 2022.
It's so old. I don't know. But we're bringing it back.
Let's bring it back.
Number 4, friendship and accountability. Hashtag be like Jonathan.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a Jonathan in their life. Number 5 is serving others. That's hashtag be like Jesus.
That's the hashtag of all hashtags. Be like Jesus.
Be like Jesus. Our number 6, take care of physical and mental health. That was hashtag be like Paul. And stay rooted in your faith is the last one. Number 7, that's hashtag be like Job.
Be like Job. That's so good. All right. Have fun.
Rightly so said.